We're looking at how I determine a least common denominator. So same thing as when we're dealing with fractions. So right here, if this is x plus 1, I got to factor that. That's an x plus 1, an x minus 1. Well, this has a plus 1 and a plus 1. Both fractions have a plus 1, but this has a minus 1. To match it, I need to do an x minus 1 on the bottom, and then I'll have to do it on the top. So common denominator is going to be that x plus 1, that x minus 1. Over on this one, I have 3 examples. I'll come back to that one. I skipped ahead. Here, right? So I got 1, 2. So get a common denominator, x plus 4, x minus 4. If this has a plus 4, I need to get a x minus 4 to match it. So if this is an x minus 4, this is an x plus 4, and I've got to do it to the top and the bottom, right? So x minus 4, I get an x plus 4 is the common denominator. On this one, I factor. I get an x minus 4, and I get an x plus 1. This is a difference of squares, x plus 4, x minus 4. Both of them, they both have an x minus 4, so I don't need to times either one of them by an x minus 4. This one has an x plus 4, so I need an x plus 4. So this fraction needs to get multiplied by that x plus 4. And then if this has an x plus 4 and an x minus 4, so both sides match, this has an x minus 1, x plus 1. So over here I'm going to need that x plus 1 on the bottom and the top. So then my common denominator will be all 3 of those things. All right, moving on to this one. I have 3. I've got an x minus 4, an x plus 4, and an x minus 4. Just to set myself up, this has an x, and this is an x minus 4. This one needs to get times by an x, and then this one is an x minus 4. So far I've got an x, and I got an x minus 4. Those two have the common denominator of that. So now I've got to get this common denominator to sync with this one. Well, these two, right, this one and this one both have an x minus a 4. So I need an x plus 4, right? So this one needs to get times by an x plus 4. And over here, this also needs to get times by an x plus 4. And that's going to be my common denominator.